Señoritas y señores, bienvenidos a otro video para Español 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is for Spanish 3 Honors. And this latest video does not have any of the extra stuff. I know you were looking forward to more fun and games at the beginning of this video, but you're not gonna get it because it's so busy around here because it's toward the end of the school year. There's so many things that's going on around campus. I don't have to tell you. It's just we're just up to here with like school-wide activities and recognition and ceremonies and banquets and graduation for seniors. So it's crazy. It's crazy. So let's get right to it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be your grammar section for chapter 5, the first half of chapter 5, 5a. All right. This first lesson is called the present perfect tense, el presente perfecto, and this information can be found on página 214. Así que por favor, abran los libros, lean esta página y ahora yo les voy a enseñar sobre el presente perfecto. Aquí va. Okay, ahí va. Here we go, clase. The present perfect tense is often used to indicate if something has or has not been done, and so if you want to form this present perfect tense, you use the present tense of haber. Now don't forget, haber is kind of like a helper verb, or it really can't stand on its own, because anytime you say I, like for example, hay tres libros, there's 3 books, or había, there was. Okay, so essentially the verb haber means there is or there are, but había is the imperfect tense. Había, habías, había of haber. That's basically like the imperfect tense of haber is to have an action or something that was or has happened, if that makes any sense. And so so what's going on now is that we're actually going to use the present tense of haber. So we're going to have to look into how the verb haber changes in the present tense so that you can state that maybe something has been done or has not been done. All right, and then the second part of your formula is a past participle. For AR ending verbs, it usually ends in ado. For ER and IR ending verbs, it usually ends in ido. So you put the two together and then you describe en español that this action has been completed or has not been completed just quite yet. All right, now I know it sounds a little extra fancy schmancy, but let's take a look. All right, take a look at this first example. No he reparado la bicicleta todavía. All right, I haven't repaired the bicycle yet. Okay, todavía means yet in Spanish. Yo he is the present tense of haber plus reparado, which is your past participle, which usually represents an action that's been completed. All right, and those are the 2 ingredients that you need to form the present perfect tense. So let's take it apart and let's find out what the present tense of haber is. And once again, I used e. Remember, H's in Spanish are silent, like the letter, like the English word honest. Okay, you don't say honest, you say honest. Yo he, tú has, usted, él, ella, ha, nosotros hemos, ustedes, ellos, ellas, han. All right. So like I said, I mean, like haber can't stand on its own. It's usually associated with another verb. So you can't just haber and then have people say, what else did you do with that? So those are the conjugations, present tense of the verb. Actually, I would say this is the present perfect forms of hablar. All right. So that's the first component of your formula. The second component of your formula is your past participle. Like I said, usually end in ado and ido. So for AR ending verbs, if you take a verb like hablar, you take out the AR and then add ADO at the end. Hablado, trabajado. All right. Manejado. Let's see here. Let's see. Caminado, etc., etc. For ER and IR ending verbs, So you take out the ER and IR, and now you add IDO, IDO to the stem. Comido, vivido, dormido. Let's see here. Let's see. Respondido. Ido. All right. So those. Now there's a couple of minor tweaks that you got to do with these. Verbs which have two vowels in their infinitive forms, like for example, look at all these infinitives right here. Caer, traer, leer, oír, reír, creer. Notice that there's a vowel here and a vowel here right after it. Okay, A-E, A-E, E-E, O-I, E-I, E-E. Okay, so what you got to do in that case, you're gonna have to, when you're using the present perfect tense, when you're putting it into the past participle, you're gonna have to put an accent mark over the letter I so that you can preserve its pronunciation, because you don't want caer to be pronounced caído, alright? Because that's what it turns into once you work it out. But to prevent people from saying caído, now you gotta say caído. You see that? And that's the correct way to say that something has fallen. Traído, leído, oído, reído, creído. So traer, okay, something that's been brought. Traído, leer, something that's been read. Leído, something that's been heard. Oído, someone who has laughed or something, you know, like making a laughing sound. Reído, and then believe, creído. So once again, the rule for present perfect tense is that these actions may have happened, but sometimes they may have not happened. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just like any other conjugation in level 3 Spanish, you're gonna have to memorize these right over here. These are your irregular past participles. There's no formula. You just need to know them. Check it out. Abrir, well, it's not gonna be abrido anymore. It's abierto. All right. Decir, not decido. Dicho. Escribir, nope. Escribido, nope. Escrito. Morir, morido, nope. Muerto. Take poner before you say ponido. It's actually puesto. Resolver, well, it's not going to be resolvido. It's resuelto. Romper, sometimes I hear rompido, but you know, according to the libro, it looks like it's roto. Ser changes to sido. Ver changes to visto. So this list of verbos are the ones that are irregular, and there's no way around it. You're just gonna have to make that adjustment. All right. Okay, señoritas y señores, the return of let's see, a bunch of pronouns like direct object pronouns, indirect object pronouns, reflexive pronouns. Now, if you are using any of these pronouns, and if you're using the word no, that gets placed before the form of haber. So check it out. So this first sentence right over here, this action has not happened, so where's your word placement? You put the no first to indicate that this is not going to happen. He repartido, okay, I have not delivered las flores, okay, no he repartido las flores, I haven't delivered them. Mi profesora me ha escrito una carta. Alright, so my professor, she's written me a letter. But notice that I am going to be the recipient of this, so the pronoun me goes before the present perfect form of haber here, which is ella ha. Alright, because I'm talking about my professor. Okay, she, ella, ha. And then escrito, of course, is the what do you call it? The past participle of escribir. All right. So mi profesora me ha escrito una carta. You got that? El dueño se ha ido temprano. All right. So this owner, she's gone, or actually in this case, el dueño is masculine, so he's gone early. El dueño se ha ido temprano. Okay, so once again, se, he has, gone early. Se ha ido temprano. So anytime you use negative words like no, direct object pronouns, indirect object pronouns, reflexive pronouns, they go before the whole present perfect formula. All right, and that's the end of the present perfect tense. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to something called the Pluperfect Tense en Español. All right, sounds kind of fancy. Let's check it out. I should probably point out that this information is also in your libro, and this information can be found on página 217. Yeah, right there. Página 217. So when I see you en la clase de español, once again, señoritas y señores, por favor, be sure that you read this little guide over here in order for you to properly use the Pluperfect Tense. So let's check it out. The Pluperfect Tense, it describes an action in the past that occurred before another action in the past. Whoa, okay, so right about now, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, Spanish is getting ridiculous because we have all kinds of past tenses, and it's true. You got the preterite tense, you got the imperfect tense. I just talked about the present perfect tense, and now the Pluperfect Tense. Whoa, that's crazy. And we haven't even gotten into the subjunctive imperfect or anything like that. Conditional. I mean, there's so many tenses in Spanish, it's crazy. But for now, we're just going to have to just take one step at a time. So here's an example that describes a little bit of the Pluperfect Tense. Yo estaba muy nervioso porque la dueña me había pedido referencias. I was very nervous because the owner, she had asked me for references. All right. So notice, here's an action. Yo estaba muy nervioso. Here's another action. La dueña me había pedido referencias. Usually using the Pluperfect Tense, this is the action in red that happened before I was nervous. See, I didn't get nervous until it was the owner who had asked me for my references. Then I got nervous. You see that? So that's more or less the gist of the Pluperfect Tense, okay? Let's find out how to form the Pluperfect Tense. Once again, it's a two-parter, all right? And once again, we are going to use the verb haber, and in this case, it's going to be the imperfect tense, el imperfecto. Yo había, tú habías, usted, él, ella había, nosotros habíamos, ustedes, ellos, ellas habían, all right? And then just like in the last lesson, what I just talked about, again, you're going to use the same type of past participle. Okay, those are going to end in ado for AR ending verbs. They're going to end in ido for ER and IR ending verbs. And then the irregular ones, like I said, abierto, dicho, escrito, muerto, puesto, resuelto, roto, sido, visto. So those that you have to memorize are included in that batch as well. So here's some examples. Check it out. Yo había hablado con ella. Okay, and once again, this is something that happened before something else will happen later on. Say that you have this right here. Then once you work it out, the Pluperfect Tense, nosotros habíamos tenido dinero. All right. Ellas habían leído los libros. And then as you can see right here, you have tú habías visto la película. All right. So forming the Pluperfect Tense hopefully should be very fácil. It takes a little practice when to use it, because once again, there's a lot going on when we're talking about the past tense. There's something that happened. This happened before something else would happen after it in the past tense. All right. So, wow, it's almost like that movie Inception, where it's just like all kinds of stuff going on at the same time in the past tense. Or is it really going on in the past tense? Or did it ever happen? Or is it even happening? Or did it happen? Or will it happen? Or is it happening now? Or is it, I don't know, just, well, anyway. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the latest Español for Chapter 5A. Ladies and gentlemen, muchas gracias for watching all these homework videos. Don't forget to sign and leave a comment for your puntos. And we're coming down the stretch, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost the end of the school year, so por favor, hang in there. This is Señor Barbosa signing off. I will see you en la clase de Español. Take it easy, clase. Nos vemos.